Does this look familiar?
What about this one?
Ever seen one of these before? Have you experienced one of these? Have you been embraced by one of these before? One of the most common and overlooked rooms you'll find in hundreds of video games are the toilets, or laboratory, or toilet facilities. They are everywhere, but no one ever talks about them. Why? I've been obsessed with finding toilets or toilet facilities in video games for many years now, so much so that when I stream on Twitch, whenever we bump into one of these in a video game, we stop and we do something that's called a toilet review. So I think I know what I'm talking about. So today I decided to do the ultimate toilet video. The ultimate starter pack to video game toilets. I already know what you're thinking. Dan, there's no way you can make a video about toilets interesting in any capacity. Challenge accepted. To do this, I traveled to 19 different video game lands of some of the most popular video game titles to find examples of some of the best and worst toilets in video games, and asking the how and why questions we most certainly will have. And yes, just to really confirm and to really hit it home here, this is a real video. I'm really making it about video game toilets. Just thought I'd like to confirm with everyone before we go ahead. Okay. But in order to explain why I got so obsessed with video game toilets, I need to take you back in time. At first, but it was truly one of the greatest years in video gaming history in terms of releases. Resident Evil 4, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Shadow of the Colossus, Call of Duty 2, King Kong, I thought it was great, Metal Gear Solid 3, Burnout Revenge. But there's another game that came out in 2005 that I haven't mentioned yet. I remember picking up a game called Fahrenheit, or Indigo Prophecy, whatever the hell it was called. It was called Fahrenheit in Europe, as I would read a lot of PlayStation Magazine articles about it saying it was going to be like a movie-like experience in a video game, the first of its kind, made by this guy. And I thought that idea sounded cool. And I was definitely old enough to play it. The opening scene takes place in
New York, capital of the universe.
Our main character Lucas narrates. I'll take your word, but I think I'm gonna have to fact check that one, Lucas. In a very blizzardy New York City, we zoom in on a toilet facility in a diner, where this happens.
What have I done?
To start off, this is intense. This is one of the most underrated video game openings I think I've ever seen. No one ever talks about it, but you've got a situation where you, as the main character Lucas, are thrown into a situation where you've just killed someone, you have a knife, you have a dead body. Oh, and by the way, there just so happens to be a cop inside the diner at the time. You need to act fast and hide any evidence as soon as possible. I didn't do that. It didn't take me long to realize there was a lot of interactivity in this one location, even in this one room. I looked myself in the mirror, I washed my bloody hands, I took time to dry my hands, tried to use the condom machine for some reason, took a piss, washed my hands again, used the dryer on my hands again. What? Hygiene, people, come on! I pressed every flush button on all 3 toilet stalls. I washed my hands. I got severely depressed. Coffee and burger for only $2. I watched TV, played the jukebox, tried the condom machine again, and left without paying. I did obviously go back and marveled at the time with what I could do in this one scenario, but I also thought at the same time, you know, you never see any video games start in the toilets. And that's my story. That's how the obsession began. Let's look at some toilets together. Starting off with toilet number 1 in Black Ops 6. Now, Black Ops 6 features a safe house. It's kind of like a mansion where you have like a general hub of where everything kind of starts, where you start your missions, where you can do like loadouts and stuff like that. I went around this entire mansion trying to find some sort of toilet, because I'm like, it's a big old mansion, it's got everything else you need in here, like of course it's going to have a toilet facility. Not one toilet facility in the house. And I know it's got some puzzles and all sorts of stuff, and I checked that shit. There's definitely no secret toilet that I'm missing out on. Anyway, it's fine. Later on, I did end up finding a toilet in this hotel/bar area, and to say I was disappointed would have been an understatement. I mean, where do I begin? It's incredibly dim in here. Like, I don't understand how this is a well-lit area at all. It's clearly not. You can't see inside the stalls, so they're just kind of there for the sake of being there. It's super plain. There's not even any branding or anything like that, like some sort of product. And the mirrors don't even work, as in they don't even show a reflection. This is going to be a thing that is a reoccurring thing throughout all these games. I always find that if developers add a working mirror, as in a mirror that shows reflection, it's always like a first indication that they do actually care about how well they are designed and how much actual effort they put into this. It's a very little thing. It's not really needed. A lot of these things I'm going to talk about are not really needed, but it's that extra mile that I just appreciate when I see in video games when they have a reflective mirror in a bathroom. And it's a similar situation in Modern Warfare 2, except this time around it's I mean, it's a hole in the ground. I should explain something. There's kind of three ways of looking at toilets and the way I kind of look at them when I, you know, critique them. And you may think I'm going a bit OTT on this subject, but just hear me out a little bit. The three things I kind of look out for is the detail in the room itself. How much detail, how much effort has obviously gone into the detail of each of the toilet facilities and toilet rooms. How practical it is, and that includes, you know, placement and making it look like, you know, kind of like an actual toilet, and the fact that it's not just thrown together a little bit. And I guess the third thing I look for is how much is it kind of integrated into the game. Now, this doesn't really mean that it needs to be a huge part of the game itself, but I like to have stuff like interactivity or maybe some branding that's there that references something in the game. Just something that makes it, you know, part of the game itself. You know, it's related to the game in some way. Things get a little bit better in Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's kind of fitting setting in the police station where it's dark and the toilet facilities look dark and scary. It's fine. We got a toilet overflowing, which was nice, but it's just fine. Starfield toilets are a little bit better. It's a nice clean look to the entire thing. I am a bit confused by the fact that especially in Bethesda games, you have a character creation screen, yet the mirror doesn't work. It'd just be nice to have a mirror, like given you have a character creation screen, but nonetheless. Cool, futuristic looking features and facilities. It's nice, but it's just a bit boring. The original Dead Space toilets, I thought these were going to be more exciting than they were. They were a little bit. They have messages on the walls of some interesting things to say. Seems to be having a hard time in this toilet. It's very plain looking space toilets and sinks. The toilets look like they are really decked out gaming chairs, and there's like warning messages to wash hands, which I thought was a nice touch, but besides that, again, just pretty plain. Sorry to break all your hopes and dreams, especially with the last video, but GTA 5's got a problem. I don't want to rally up anyone here, because this one's controversial, okay? This is a controversial one, but I have a problem with a very specific toilet in this game. Specifically in Michael's house. As we know, very nice house, very expensive house, might I add. As we head upstairs to the toilet facilities, we notice it's very nice at first glance. Nice walls, nice tiling, great sink, plenty of towels, a nice little throwback to a certain GTA game in the series on the toothpaste tube, a very nice view to the outside, great fancy lights. For the first time in this video, an actual working mirror. This is looking very promising indeed. And then we get this. Now, I don't have a problem with the toilet itself. It's a perfectly fine design. Nothing wrong with the actual toilet. But oh my god. What the hell is this placement? I was shocked. I was confused. Why the big fancy house, the near perfect room, and then ruin it all by having the toilet there? Put it there or there. The toilet roll and brush are even stuffed into the corner as well. This doesn't look like a comfortable experience at all. Also, something I also noticed as well, the toilet is super close to the window. So I'm not 100% sure here, but I'm I am 100% sure Michael is not safe in that location as he drops the kids off at the pool. I'm just trying to look out for everyone's safety here. I was going to put this in the good toilet section. It was practically there already, but after seeing this, I don't know what else to say anymore. I'm disappointed, Rockstar. I'm disappointed. Okay, so this one. I recently discovered this. I'm currently playing through the whole of the original Mass Effect series, as I never actually play through the entirety of the original Mass Effect series. I'm currently doing that over on Twitch now. Definitely not going to plug it anymore. So I never played the series before. In Mass Effect 2, I went to check out the ship for the first time as it was different from the first game. And while it was a big improvement overall, you know, we got some nice, cool facilities in the area. It's looking really nice. I really like the look of the ship. I'm very disappointed in whomever built these toilet facilities. I don't think they realized the ramifications of what they did. Now, you may think, well, this looks fine, Dan. And yes, it's fine. Nothing wrong with it. Just by looking at it, nothing stands out. Besides the lack of towels or drying facilities, so everyone walks around the ship with wet hands, I guess. There's no toilet rolls. There's no ambience. But again, similar to the GTA 5 thing, the placement is key here. I just walked into a room using this door, and I can see the entire room as I walk in. I can see everything. So there's a chance that I just walk into these toilets and I see two crewmates are trying to lay the groundwork for future mission success, and I will get hit with the smell of future mission success, and so will the rest of the ship as well, especially on level 2, the crew's quarters. Both the men's and women's toilet facilities are here and here. We are next to some very important rooms, and I'm just saying, if anything was to kind of leak out of these toilet facilities, given the fact there's a very large door that opens up to these toilet facilities and the rest of the entire hallway is just there as soon as you open the door. Down the hallway is where everyone is eating, so the smell actually might travel the hallway. I'm not an expert when it comes to ship, you know, air venting, but I'm pretty certain it's got to escape somewhere, right? I'm just saying, there might have been a reason why everyone was feeling sick last Friday when we had that pizza party. And I'm just saying, maybe we can move the toilets in a different location. I just don't think the toilets are in a suitable location. It's right next door to where the people are sleeping. It's right next door to life support. I mean, come on. That's one part of it, but this room also features showers as well. Not only will you get people coming in and out just baking a loaf right next to you as you're trying to have a shower, stink the whole place up, and then leave. Don't think there's a lot of personal space here. I even tried to measure it myself with Shepard here to try figure out how much space anyone actually has using these showers. Yes, again, this video is still real. I mean, in fact, there's no personal space in the whole place. Kind of rhymes. I don't know if there was some budget cuts that happened between Mass Effect 1 and 2 in terms of space travel, but if Shepard doesn't solve this as the final mission objective by the end of the game, I'm going to be disappointed. Doom 3. Now, the game itself, probably not one of my favorites. I understand they're trying to go down the horror aspect with Doom and trying to make it like a scary Doom. However, it does have one of my favorite toilet facilities in a video game ever. I don't know if it's my favorite for good reasons, though. You'll kind of see what I mean in a minute. First off, it has a working mirror, and this is kind of a bigger deal just because of the age of this game. Having a working mirror when this game came out, kind of a bigger deal than you probably would expect. I'm very glad that they put a mirror in this game. However, it does showcase some of the problems with putting a mirror in this game if you're not careful about it. One of the things you kind of want to do if you make a mirror in a video game is to make sure that the character themselves, when you see them in a mirror, they're moving kind of naturally. Obviously, with it being a first-person shooter and there being a mirror in this game, they didn't really focus too much on how the character looked when it started moving. But when you look in the mirror when he's moving, he kind of has this single speed animation while moving, like he's dancing at a disco. There's also a little attention to details as well, where you get the taps dripping into the sink as well. I really like those little touches. The shadows have a very weird placement in this room as well. It's so dark in some of the areas that you can barely see what's going on or can't see anything. That's going to come back later when we get a flashlight. At this point in the game, you don't have a flashlight, but if you come back to the same room when you do have a flashlight, we also got a 2 toilet roll system. It's very rare that you see a 2 toilet roll system in real life and in video games. Of course, the magazines of GameHog and Booty, some fantastic reads and articles in those magazines. There's this thing. So I mentioned when you come back to this room, you have a flashlight this time. And it's a little bit more different than before. Everything's kind of gone to shit, no pun intended. But it allows you to see into the darkened areas now and things that you might have not seen before. And yeah, I wasn't sure if I was to blur that out on YouTube or not. It does look like it, but because of the graphical, you know, age of the game, I can't really tell. The fantastic reboot of Prey has a very interactive toilet that you can actually access at the very, very start of the game. Fully interactive, actually. You can even turn the lights on and off. There is no mirror, but that's fine. I think the rest of what's going on here kind of makes up for that fact. We've even got a tie rack as well. We've got a coat hanger on the back of the door. You can turn the shower on, you can flush the toilet. You can see little details on the shower room door, like little markings and wet patches and stuff like that. We've got piping in the ceiling that somewhat makes sense, but it's not 100% accurate, but it's there. It's kind of the first of the start of seeing more interactivity in toilets and how it can be used to, I mean, it's not really important, let's be honest, like flushing a toilet and running water in a sink, but like, it's there. We're going way into the future now with Cyberpunk 2077. If you go to the Afterlife bar and check out the public toilets, we have some lights on the urinals, except one. And I'm not saying that I spent way too long trying to figure out what the lights mean on the urinals. Maybe I did. So this right off the gate is one of my favorite games to play for toilet facility. What am I doing in my life? We head to the level in Paris. Alan Rickman, Hitman here, doesn't care about the ceremony. He is just bursting for the job. The toilets in Hitman do seem more of a mess than you would think. There's bleach, there's like cleaning products everywhere. This is like a reoccurring theme that happens throughout the entire game. Highly interactive environment as well, as the game kind of requires it. It's part of the gameplay after all. Don't understand why though. It's obviously a game about a bald man who goes on holiday a lot and he kind of just enjoys his life. And every holiday is a hit. Hitman. We get the split or the 2-button function on a toilet. Very European. Yeah, overall it's a very well detailed... Oh. Yeah, I'm just filming a documentary. Okay, sorry. To Sapienza, we go check out the public toilets here. Different flushers on the toilets. Now we're starting to see the difference in different toilets depending on the location that you're in Hitman. The toilet water on close inspection, for some reason, always looks like a portal to hell. We get a new sink as well. We get hanging towels. I don't know what you would use that for, but it's there. His apartment in Sapienza, though, is another story, and I'm now fully convinced that Hitmen are not very good at cleaning or at least keeping the place nice. I mean, what is that? Why do you have that? We got the same toilet design as it was in the public toilets. It's just more of a mess that's in here than a public toilet. We fly to Bangkok and now we come to possibly one of my favorite toilets of all time. Now, side note, the rest of the hotel room is really, really nice, although I really don't understand the menu that's on the TV when you turn it on. What, the store? What? But then we get to the grand finale. The purple rug, bathrobes, the matching towels, the 2 generous sinks, a giant bathtub, the lighting, and there's more. Not only do you get all this, but there's a weighing scale that actually works when Alan here decides to stand on it. very good. Although if that is his actual weight, I would be seriously consulting a doctor about that. And the piece de la resistance, a f***ing bidet. By the way, YouTube, I'd like to introduce you to the main man of the hour because he's going to make a lot of impromptu appearances in the future videos. This is Sherlock. He will be taking no further questions as of right now, as he is not a toilet. He is a cat. Well, you have any opinions on toilets, right? We're all about education on this channel, not just useless information. Toilet button is large. We go to Miami, one of my favorite levels in Hitman. Mostly public toilets here, but I wanted to highlight like a little attention to detail that they do in the Hitman games that I really do appreciate. It's a very small thing, but it's just to do with how clean the toilets are when you consider they're public toilets. For example, toilet number 1 has toilet paper everywhere, which is to be expected, as well as paper towels, which we haven't seen before, and hand dispensers. Also, the level of dirt is very realistic given that this is a public toilet. On the walls, in the sink, the toilet itself, even the marks on the mirror. If you also head into another one of these toilets, it's similar, but there's a difference in the toilet paper here. There's even more on the ground. This would definitely be a weird video if I was just talking about video game toilets and complaining how messy they were and someone needs to do something about it. Because it's definitely not a weird video as it is. I had to move the curtain because the sun was actually beaming out of the window. So now the coloring and everything's going to be completely ruined on this video. So sorry about that, editing Dan. Sure, you may get some toilet facilities that pop up now and again that are kind of similar, but there's so much different design and care and attention to detail that's gone into every single level of the Hitman series. Still Wakes the Deep might be a game that people don't know about. It's kind of like a walking sim horror title that came out last year or the year before. This is more of a shower room than a toilet room. The shower room has a lot of pipes in there. That's very accurate. Oh my god. Despite me talking about Fahrenheit at the start of this video and saying that's how I got interested in video game toilets. Kind of. It's kind of how I got interested. The main game that I got interested when it came to attention to detail in video games was the Fallout series. But I do think that Fallout, especially New Vegas, has a very unique and interesting way of how they do their toilet facilities in their games. On first glance, most toilets in New Vegas seem the same. Same sink, same toilet, same bath. There's never been a fully functioning mirror. If you've seen one, do let me know. But I've never seen a working mirror in Fallout, ever. Every single time I find one, they're always smashed. But in each of the rooms you go to and visit, you'll find 1 or 2 items you might find in other rooms that you didn't find in others. Example, you might find a rug this time around, or a hand dryer, a plunger, a bucket, or a bin. Some weird wiring on the wall, or a light switch. It's kind of the same layout, but each of the rooms does have a difference. Everything has been placed there, placement-wise, and we talk about placement again. It's been placed there on purpose. It's not like they just done a copy and paste job. You'll get things that you will find in some rooms that you don't find in others. Given it's the post-apocalyptic era, you wouldn't think cleanliness would be a thing, but there are slight differences in that too. In some cases, there's huge differences. For example, the presidential suite at Topps Casino. It's the same things we've seen before in other toilet facilities, but look, the bath is slightly cleaner. Tiny little attention to detail. They could have just put in the same old cleanliness that you had in the other rooms in Topps Casino that we've just seen before. But they decided, hey, it's the presidential suite. It's gonna be slightly better than the other bathtubs that are in the other rooms. It gets even more interesting when you go to the Ultra Luxe Casino or the White Glove Society. These seem like nice people. Again, kind of the same layout as before, but look, new tiling, a new rug, a new light, actual fucking ceiling that doesn't look like the inside of a 20-year-old unclean oven. And most significantly of all, if you can even imagine, even more cleaner facilities. I'm talking spotless white. I'm talking I can see my face in that sink. Although I can't because mirrors don't work in this. You know what I mean? Even most of the vaults that you visit are different looking in terms of textures. But yes, it may seem like it's very cut and paste job if you don't actually go around looking at each of the toilet facilities, and I wouldn't blame you. You're obviously not a madman like me. But there was definitely thought and consideration that's gone into each of those rooms just to make them slightly more different, or in some cases, completely different. Now that, people, was my highly necessary video on toilets in video games. I hope your life has changed after seeing this video. I would like to know from yourselves, is there any toilet facilities in other games that I didn't mention that I should definitely look at? Whether it be good or on the bad side, please let me know in the comments section below. And remember, these are little details in video games. They don't make any difference to the actual game itself, but I do appreciate people that take time and dedication to design these rooms that not many people pay much attention to. You are the unsung heroes of video games.